What's up, South Florida? I am Jenny Jones, and we're back for another relaxing round of conversation on the water while talking on water. And today, I'm bringing all the Zen. And in case South Florida's beautiful waters is not enough for you, I brought the Zen Master, Mr. Wes Saunders. He's going to tell us about his NFL career. He's going to tell us about holistic training. He's going to tell us about martial arts of wellness. So he's got a lot of titles, and all it refers back to is that it's Zen. All right, then. So welcome, Wesley.
Jenny, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You called me the Zen Master. I thought you were talking about somebody else at first.
You know, I seen you all on social media, and you've got people maxing and relaxing and getting their mind right, getting their body right. So let's just jump right in.
Absolutely.
So the NFL, we're going to start there. So the NFL, tell us a little bit about your time in the NFL and what it taught you about where you helped you to reflect where you are now in life.
Yeah, well, first off, kudos to you and congratulations on a successful series like Talkin on the Water. My time in the NFL kind of taught me how to be more grateful about things. It's a very corporate environment. A lot of people look at it as a sport, but it's much more than just a sport, right? There's a bottom line, there's shareholders, there's money at stake, and a lot of that goes into it and kind of takes some of the fun out of that childhood game that we once enjoyed.
And you started from the little days when you were little. Did you come out the womb with a football, or what had happened was?
Well, you know, what had happened was, I'm born in Gary, Indiana, which is very much a basketball state. So basketball was my first love. My father got a big job in North Carolina, so I moved there around the age of 5 or 6. So North Carolina was a big football state. So, I was able to facilitate both of those things. And unfortunately, I was too big to play sports as a kid. So I had to participate in soccer and gymnastics until my age caught up with my body. So around 6 or 7, I was a little bit too big to play with kids my age. Unfortunately, they had a weight limit. But it turned out to be the biggest blessing in disguise. I was the only boy in gymnastics class. I learned how to play around girls and treat young girls and be appropriate around them, which is a trait now that proves invaluable because I see how many other men never learn how to do those things.
Well, I don't see, when I see, 6'6"?
6'7", but who's counting?
6'7", so I don't see gymnastics. So what little bit of gymnastics were you doing?
So I did the floor routine. I still do backflips. I don't know if you've seen my So I still participate in the backflips and the routine. I never did the beam, but just doing the floor routine and just being around that environment allowed me to understand my body more, understand how things flow, how to contort yourself in weird positions, and it helped a lot on the football field.
That's what we're here for, to learn some new things about people and, meet new friends and just enjoy the beautiful waters of South Florida.
That's it. Come on, we're in paradise.
So when you think back on your NFL career, what's an instant memory that comes to mind that makes you smile?
Oh, well, that would probably, off the top of my head, it would be my first touchdown. Scoring my first touchdown my rookie year with the Steelers in Kansas City on Sunday Night Football, one of the biggest platforms. It's primetime TV, everyone's watching. But specifically, it's a little more special because the night before, one of my good friends and teammates, Antonio Brown, invited me to an autograph signing at a Kansas City bar that was for the Steelers. And I remember a little kid walked up to me and he wanted to get my autograph. And he snatched his jersey back and asked me what my name was and if I had scored any touchdowns yet. I told him I hadn't scored any touchdowns yet. He said, "I don't want your autograph until you score a touchdown." And lo and behold, 24 hours later, I scored my first touchdown in Kansas City. And it was the only touchdown of the game. But at that moment, that kid was the only person I thought about. Right,
okay.
Right in the middle of millions of people, that one kid was like, "Hey, how you like me now, kid?"
Okay, did you do like a little dance and a little cameo on camera when you made it?
Unfortunately, no. My excitement got the best of me. I wasn't able to do the practice dance that I had scheduled. The touchdown was good enough.
Okay, then. I bet if he looks back and see this, he's going to regret that I didn't go ahead and get that.
You should have got the scribble, kid, but it's okay.
Take that moment when it comes to you. So,
and that was motivation too. So thank you, whoever that kid is. Thank you for putting that in my brain.
And that's what you do.
Yeah.
Is motivate people now. So it's kind of more of a little bit of a moment for you that you can reflect back and say, he motivated me in this way, and then now I'm motivating people in a whole other way, because I was looking at some of your background. martial arts of wellness.
Yes.
Tell me, what is a martial arts of wellness?
Well, yeah, I'm glad you asked that. That's something that I wish I would have implemented during my playing days. But I met a wonderful gentleman by the name of Seafood Matthew in New York several years ago.
Seafood. Seafood.
SIFU. Seafood. Yeah,
Okay.
seafood,
Not seafood.
which means master in that terminology. So Seafood Matthew, he knew all about. He created the concept of martial arts of wellness, and he had been the personal coach to a lot of celebrities out in LA, Gwyneth Paltrow, a lot of the entertainment industry, but really teaching how to create energy and force in the body while implementing functional movements as well. A lot of people, arthritis will start to break down as we get older, but I think that has a lot to do with our oxygen intake and our ability to move and flow properly with the weather, with the elements. We're here in South Florida, probably the best place you can be for healing.
Yes.
And so once I learned about those things, things that they were not teaching us in the NFL, and I wanted to implement them and teach them to other people as well. So, yeah.
Well, I like that. So now do you work with some of your former players and teach them about the mindset and, how it goes along with what you're doing for your body, the exercise and all of that?
Absolutely, yeah. So I teach first people who I was able to impact and reach with my family. I always tell people, if you got something important that you want to do and implement, just focus on the people around you first.
They're going to support you.
They're going to support you, but also if they look at you, if you do it for yourself, first of all, yourself. I was able to implement these practices on my body, juicing, healthier eating. People started seeing me. I'm known as Big West back in North Carolina. I used to be a little over 300 pounds and super unhealthy. I don't know if you've been to North Carolina, but we got Bojangles and sweet tea and biscuits and all type of stuff.
See, there you go with the food.
There you go. There you go.
Talk food, fun, and fashion and culture, and you also got the fashion on, right?
Something light. But yeah, we especially our culture, we love fashion.
Yes.
We love food. We come together around those things, and not everything that's good to you is good for you, right?
Yeah,
unfortunately, we can't be eating barbecue and having all the fun every night, right? We got to balance it out.
Moderation.
So I started my company Win with West based on trying to teach people more balance, right? Hey, incorporate healthy juice cleanses once or twice a week. Start going on walks and doing breath work and filling your body with oxygen so we can heal properly. Because the older I got, the more I see how many people are dealing with ailments and illnesses that can be prevented. Food, lifestyle choices, drinking, smoking, things like that. So, really trying to help us get out of our own way.
Now, I see you on social media, and it's like as the sun is beginning to rise, and you're out there on the beach, and you're doing some movements, and what is that the Tai Chi? Because
That's very
I'm trying to find out what is Tai Chi, So tell me a little bit about Tai Chi.
Well, Tai Chi, in its simplest terms, is ancient techniques of learning and facilitating our own body properly. Right? Our bodies are not that much different from the trees and the nature you see all around us, but for some reason we think we're so separate. I tell people all the time, we don't have a Tylenol deficiency, right? We've got all these issues that are going on with our bodies. I guarantee you don't need more Tylenol. You just need to be in tune with your own body. And Tai Chi teaches that. So it's a collaboration of breath work and movements, sudden movements, especially in the sand, and grounding. The big thing is, people don't understand is grounding, taking your shoes off. I'm someone who broke my foot twice playing football. I have a screw in my foot about this big, and that led me to reflexology and learning about just how many things can be prevented on our own, especially coming from the ground up. A lot of people don't think about healing as it relates from the feet. Chinese believe that a lot of illnesses and ailments actually travel through the feet. So,
I used to do massage therapy, and I had one of my friends did reflexology, so I'm feeling you.
Yeah, so you know what time it is. Yeah, so unfortunately, some of these techniques, it's hard pressed to kind of teach people these things because we've been so indoctrinated by Western medicine and things of that nature. Especially me growing up in Durham, North Carolina, Duke University. People come from all over the country to go to their medical facilities and their cancer programs, and they don't have about any better success rate than anybody else in the country. But it's the name and the prestige and the money behind it that leads people to think that they need these things to survive.
You're an emotional intelligence coach, so is that part of weaving into the Tai Chi, or is that separate? How does that work?
Absolutely, it's all connected. I like to say that peace is only a breath away, and yeah, there you go. So even when you get cognizant of how you're breathing, you immediately snap back into focus on how you're breathing, right? It's something that we often don't think about until you're out of breath. And so, right, and so I tell people all the time, sometimes we're breathing just enough to survive, but not enough to thrive. Our body needs, that's almost like driving your car on empty all day. You might get to your next destination okay, but you might not. You're playing with fire. So the idea is to fill our bodies with oxygen, take breaths in between incremental moments of our lives, right? Before you send that email, before you respond to that text that you got from your coworker, before you
get us out of a lot of trouble if we take that second to take that beat and think. Yeah.
There you go. And I'm guilty of it. I was a guy who was, I was a little hot-headed. I mean, people we know that take pride in having a short temper. I tell people that's no way to live. That's no way to do business. People aren't, you kind of want to be pleasurable to deal with.
Around. Yeah,
and a lot of people take, especially this social media age and reality stars where you think you have to be nasty to people in order to get ahead in life. I think the times are changing, and especially when it comes to athletes and guys who are typically known as alpha males. These are some of the worst guys I've had to deal with because they're so privileged, and unfortunately society tells them that they're privileged and they got a little money that they can treat people a certain kind of way. So I try to go the opposite route.
I like to take the kindness route, and when I feel like I'm on the edge, that especially when I'm in a customer service setting or, speaking to somebody that is giving me customer service, I try to remember that I was once in customer service or, and also on the receiving end to just breathe and talk calm and also make sure that you get your points out.
That's compassion. Hey, look, it's a slow drip. Hey, I get it. It's hard because people test you. Like that's the whole thing. Especially when I talk to my clients, I need to tell them, hey, as soon as you wake up in the morning, before you pick that phone up, whatever you do, you need to take a breath, take a moment for yourself because life is going to bring you some sort of issue for you to deal with, whether it comes in the form of a person or an issue. You might have a leak going on in the bathroom. It's going to be something. And how you react to it is everything. And so, it's compassion. You got compassion.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress, but
that's practice, though.
Being out here on the water, it definitely helps me with my zen.
You would think that, but why are there so many miserable people in Miami if the weather could help implement a healthier mindset and lifestyle? So that's one thing that's confused me.
They need you. They need you to show them how to appreciate and relax and just elevate their learning. Because it's a mindset. It's a mindset. You know how they say mind over matter.
It is. If you don't mind, it don't matter. That's what I like to say.
I like it. Mind and matter and matter and mind. I like it. So
and it's also, I like to tell people, it's the messenger sometimes over the message. Right? I've heard messages like these from many people, but I realize that especially the young underprivileged youth, they listen to a lot of what I got to say. Successful men listen to what I got to say because in their head they believe that the NFL is the pinnacle of success, and so maybe I know what I'm talking about. So
I get
a little something because I used to use my power for evil. I used to get people to come out and party with me. I can get 50 people to come have a shot with me at the bar. But now when I talk about this wellness thing and breath work, it's like pulling teeth a little bit. So
that's okay. We're gonna pull them today.
We're
pulling them. So I see that you are such a personality. Who would you say during your time in the NFL was somebody that was number 2 to your number 1 as being Mr. Personality?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Probably my teammate, Pat McAfee at the Indianapolis Colts. He's got a very successful podcast right now. Pat, he was a All-American punter, very great punter in the NFL, but now he's totally rebranded himself as one of the top podcast hosts in the world after football because he stuck true to his personality. He kind of flies off the cusp a little bit. He's a little bit more explicit than I am, but as far as personality goes, I would probably say Pat McAfee.
Okay. Yeah. So you think maybe you seen that in him, maybe in that time during that space, you've seen kind of that in him that it could be?
Absolutely. Well, that was before 2014, 2015 when I was with Indy. That was before I think a huge boom in social media, but he definitely had the personality and the presence to take it forward. And now people are paying for him to be authentic. Now authenticity is key. That's the new currency content model. And you being yourself for an extended period of time makes people trust you and want to do business with you, even if they don't agree with everything you're saying. This is a new age where I don't have to agree with everything you're saying to appreciate the person you are.
Now, I've seen that you took some journalism in your background.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you kind of knew where you wanted, kind of had a little bit of a view of the trajectory you wanted to see your life going when you finished sports. And
Absolutely. Writing has always been a part of my life. My father is a renowned columnist in North Carolina, formerly of the Raleigh News and Observer. So my father is my favorite writer in the world. You know, he started his own newspaper, the North Star in Richmond County, Rockingham. Yeah, in honor of Frederick Douglass, who had his own newspaper publication. So I've always understood the importance of the written word and unbiased journalism, just looking at other people's point of view without judging them, listening to their story. That's a superpower in itself. And so I went to the University of South Carolina, obviously on an athletic scholarship, but the premise was that I would be able to study journalism. They had one of the best journalism schools in the country. So just being able to understand that aspect, especially now where we need honest journalism more than ever, and stories told that haven't been told hundreds of times in the past. You know, I'm kind of over the slave rhetoric. We've got thousands of slave movies now. It's time to let's talk about some of the success stories that we have in our history. Let's start talking about the bright spots of our culture instead of the worst parts. And so I kind of want to do my part in that aspect, as are you. And so thank you for even opening up a segment such as this for people to share their stories that might not be mainstream.
There's so much negativity out there that when you come here on Talkin on Water, we want to celebrate you and athletes, what you've done and what you're going to do. So in that vein, what are some of the projects that you have coming up that you want to tell people about?
When with Wes, my company was accepted on Airbnb experiences now, so people can come in town and book a private experience with my wife and I, where she facilitates the sound bowls. I do my breath work and meditation on the beach, and dance movement. We have a class and a structure called Breathing and Bliss that we have traveled. I've hosted retreats in Egypt, all over the world.
I would like to not have my black card revoked. So can you teach a sister some moves? I can do a little salsa, but I need to keep my black card. So can you help a sister out?
The black card is the authenticity. That's what I've been talking about. You got a rhythm that's all your own. I tell people all the time, I'm like, hey, it ain't that white folks can't dance. They're just dancing on a different rhythm than us. Different beat. The world is moving on the rhythm. Everybody got to find their own rhythm. And where stress happens is when you try to dance to somebody else's beat. You try to do somebody else's rhythm.
That's probably what's my problem.
There you go. Yeah. No, we got to find what your thing is, and then we're going to accentuate that.
Tell people how they can find you. Tell people all your social media handles and where they can find you. They can call you because you need some Zen in your life. So tell people how they can find you and get your services.
First, you can find me outside. I'll be outside everywhere. I'm not one of these guys that's hiding. And I like to be around people.
You're too tall to hide.
There you go. I'm too big to hide. And also, I think these past few years, people have become less sociable. So I like to be out in the mix and meet people face to face. But if you're online, you can find me at wesley.com, WESLYE.com. I've never met anybody spell their name like me, so it's very easy to get that domain. And Wes_Saunders 88 on Instagram and Twitter. So.
All right, then, South Florida. That ends this Zen conversation with the one and only Wesley Saunders. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you are ready to get your Zen back, both mind, body, and spirit, he's the man that you need to contact. He told you all his social media handles, but we'll also post it for you. So be sure and check us out. And I hope you enjoyed the episode with, like I said, Mr. Wesley Saunders, the Zen Master.